I'm going to take the Ravens, and I understand that Lamar has been banged up a little bit coming off a Sunday's game in Buffalo, and it's a short turnaround. But the thing that Greg Williams must be careful of is that he's not going to be blitzing a 42-year-old Tom Brady. He's not blitzing a 18-year-old Brett Favre or Peyton Manning skipping the Super Bowl.
Or how about a Dak Prescott without either starting tackle and without Amari Cooper up at the Jets? Go ahead.
Because the difference is, okay, you can blitz him. But remember, it's all about getting, Coach Belichick says it's all about getting the guy on the ground. You blitz him, and you let him jump out the window. Now, we saw what happened with the Patriots skip on Sunday. They played, the Kansas City Chiefs played cover 5, which is 22-man, and they run past him, and Tom Brady got 17. This guy right here, if you run past him, he'll hit his head on the goalpost. And so you have to be mindful. Also, he's very unique in this way, is that he's a guy, yes, he has tremendous legs, but he leads the NFL in passing. So do you really want to leave your guys one-on-one? Because he can throw the ball. He can beat you throwing the football.
Absolutely.
And he kind of did that, although he didn't have a bunch of yards. They neutralized him running the game last week in Buffalo, Skip. But it was his 3 touchdown passes ultimately was the difference in the ball game. So he can beat you throwing the football. So that's what the Jets are going to have to face. And for me, look, the Jets are what they are. I think they're 5-8. When you're dealing with a team like this and you have so much in front of you, you're the Ravens, Skip, you don't give them any reason to want to play hard. You give them a reason to say, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close out the lease on my apartment because I got to get this thing ready to get up out of here. Go ahead and call the people that's going to come pick these trucks up in Jersey, my car vehicles up in Jersey, because I'm going back to Florida or Texas or Georgia, wherever I'm from or where I'm going to spend my offseason because I'm going to get up out of here. You don't want a team like this thinking they can beat you late in the ball game, because you make it more difficult than what it needs to be. Ideally, they race out to a big lead, and then RG3 can take this thing over somewhere through the midway through the third quarter, and then Lamar Jackson can get that quad healthy over the course of the next 10 days, because all they need to win 2 games, and they have the #1 seed throughout. They win the division and have the #1 seed throughout as long as they win in the AFC.
So we obviously saw Lamar and company have a pretty tough game in the wind and the cold up in Buffalo. Went down to the last throw. Marcus Peters knocked it down at the goal line. But I'm going to remind everybody, we have seen this young man, Lamar Jackson, on the nighttime solo NFL stage twice before this year. This is the 3rd time tonight, live on Fox. What happened the first time on a Sunday night on NBC? The Patriots went to Baltimore. It was 37-20, Lamar and company. Lamar lit them up with his arm and his legs. And then what happened out here on a Monday Night Football not too long ago at the Coliseum against the Rams, who we thought were going to be really good before the year started? It was 45-6 Lamar Jackson, and he put on a show of shows. He had a QBR of 99.7, second this year only to his 99.8 at Cincinnati when he put them in the spin cycle.
And he had what did he have, like a 98-point-something against the opening day against Miami?
He did at Miami. He lit them up. But he lit up the Rams. He didn't throw many, but he 15-20 for 169, but he ran 8 times for 95 yards, and he threw 5 touchdown passes. That's all, 5 touchdown passes. He threw 3 more at Buffalo. So my point is, you could see Rare tonight because this kid, he likes that stage, right? When the lights are brightest, he rises and shines the brightest, right?
Yep.
And it does seem like, save for one exception, it seems like he likes to put one of his fellow sort of draft class quarterbacks in their place, and he's got another chance tonight against Sam Darnold. Now, Baker got him. Baker did get him this year at Baltimore. But last week, I thought he outplayed Josh Allen, and Josh Allen had a hard time against the Baltimore defense. But tonight, I think Lamar will try to light them up, which brings me back to Greg Williams. He is my favorite defensive coordinator in football. Belichick's obviously at the top. Your man Wade Phillips is somewhere up in that echelon, and Greg Williams is too. It's those 3. And what I love about Greg Williams is he's just a tough old flint of a guy.
He is.
He is no nonsense. He will tell you eye to eye exactly what he thinks or does not think of you. And I just wish I could snap my fingers and have him coach my Dallas Cowboy defense home this year, because he wouldn't take quitting.
No.
He would tear some new you-know-whats in that locker room, right?
Yeah, Skip, I don't know if those guys can handle that kind of coaching.
I don't know.
Because Greg Williams is a different animal.
Woof.
He going MFs and F, he going to do all.
You're going to get it all.
He going to get it all, Skip.
You know what? It almost always works because he's coached 2 different defenses to Super Bowls, and obviously one required a bounty gate against Brett Favre, and he got busted for that, but they did go on to win that Super Bowl against Peyton, right?
Correct.
And so he's been to 2 Super Bowls. He did win one, and I still say if Jimmy Haslam in Cleveland had the foresight to keep Greg Williams as his head coach and let him coordinate the defense and keep Freddie Kitchens where he belonged, let him go ahead and call the plays, let him be the offensive coordinator, but let Greg Williams run the show from the top. They are missing Greg Williams' voice in that locker room. My team is missing a voice like that. I thought it was Rod Marinelli. I don't know what's happened. Maybe they've just grown tired of his voice.
Skip, I'm looking at Lamar's resume, and you make some very good points about Greg Williams. Greg Williams is, look, I remember they played the Colts in the Super Bowl. And I had picked the Colts, and he had saw that I had picked the Colts, and we were for media day, so we were over there, and he comes strolling through, and he pulled me to the side, he said, Sharp, you know we're going to blitz his ass into the ground. I'm telling you, this is a Tuesday now.
We're talking about
Peyton Manning. Yes, prime Peyton Manning. Oh, you know we're going to blitz him into the ground. Skip, I'm like, that's coach talk. You're not going to blitz. Nobody blitzed Peyton Manning back then. He had Marvin, he had Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark. I mean, no, stop. Get out of here.
Okay.
That's what he did. But Skip, does anybody have a more impressive resume than Lamar Jackson? He beat the Pats, he beat Seattle, he beat Houston, he beat the Niners, he beat Buffalo, he beat the Rams. Jenny says
I'm glad Dallas isn't on his schedule. It would have been embarrassing.
Jenny says he's the MVP front runner. Right now, he's like, I don't really know. Unless he just steps off a cliff, I don't know how anybody catches him with that resume.
Okay. So, because I'm always intrigued by what Greg Williams can do.
Yes.
I give them that proverbial puncher's chance. I'm just afraid he doesn't have enough horses on his unit to deal with this stallion that is Lamar.
But the thing is, Skip, if he was just one-dimensional, and yes, they're running the ball for over 200 yards, and I think you got to go back, you said 77, if I'm not mistaken, that was Walter Payton's Chicago Bears team that led the league in rushing that year. But Skip, back then, everybody ran the football. I mean, you weren't winning anything if you couldn't run the football. But this kid can throw it. I'm amazed. I mean, I don't know if people really know this. He leads the NFL in passing touchdowns, and he's 22 yards from breaking Michael Vick. I think Mike
23 rush yards.
23 rush yards. So Mike had, 1,036? So he's over 1,000 running.
Close.
Michael was never close to leading the league in passing touchdowns. So that just goes to show you just how dynamic of a player he is. You can't say, okay, we're going to shut his legs off because he can't. Okay, you'll find out the hard way.